My name is Tim Corle. My company is Tycor Benefit Administrators. I am one of the owners and the president and CEO. We help people live well and retire comfortably through quality employee benefit programs, 401k retirement programs, individual investment management, and retirement income planning mostly for closely held business organizations.
You've been doing this for how long now?
Well, I've been here 31 years now. Company's been in business 43. Wow. Founded by my father. So I've been here longer than him, actually. He retired at 30 years. I've been here longer than he has.
Well, you've been recruiting for a long time. You've, had a lot of success doing it. But before we met, it sounded like there were some recruiting challenges that were happening with the organization. What exactly was the recruiting environment like for you before we met?
Well, before we started working with Hunter Recruiting Advisors, I'd say we had very limited success, and our success was tied to directly how much time we dedicated to it. We had other contingency type recruiting firms that would work for us in the time. I mean, the biggest challenge we had was I'm not good at it. And I recognized I'm not good at it. Because I'm not good at it, I hated doing it. So it fell to the bottom of the pile. And then that resulted in me and some of the key leadership here being way overworked because it's just hard. And, I think today, the hiring environment might have changed a little bit into the employer's favor. But up until, the beginning of this year, candidates were gone. In an instant. If you didn't jump right on them, they were gone in an instant. And I never moved fast enough because I was running a business. So we had trouble sourcing candidates. We had trouble screening candidates, things like that. And the other model that we used, the contingency model, we did get a couple of good candidates from that model over the years, but I always had the impression that the recruiter was working more for the candidate than they were for us.
You could have gone with a lot of other groups, but you ultimately decided to work with Hunter. What was it about us that made you say, you know what, I'm willing to give those guys a try?
Well, so Hunter was referred to us by a very close friend in Vistage. I'm a member of Vistage, have been for a long time. And another fellow Vistage member who I respect was expressing my frustration to him last year, this time, in fact, at dinner. And he mentioned the success he had with you guys. I think he hired 30 people in a very short period of time using Hunter Recruitment Advisors. And I asked the question that I always ask is, how many of them are still there? And he said about 28 of them. I mean, that's pretty undeniable track record. So I got the referral from him. I didn't really even consider anybody else because it takes just as much time to go out and source people like you and figure out who's good. So I took the referral from a respected friend and was very happy I did.
Well, we are too. You've been an excellent partner. If there was, a challenge or two, I mean, obviously bringing people in, that's always something that a recruiting firm should do. But what was probably the biggest challenge that Hunter helped you address when it came to your just overall recruiting strategy?
Hunter helped me address the sourcing of candidates. I mean, we would throw an ad out there, all the websites that you use, they're escaping me now, but we would throw an ad out there on those websites. And then they would bombard you with hundreds of people that were not remotely qualified. But just because there was one key word in our ad, they said, okay, send them all these people. And so it was very frustrating trying to run a business. I work in the business as well as on the business, and that takes a lot of time. And now I have to weed through hundreds of garbage resumes that should not really have even gotten to me in order to pick the few that I should call. Then I have to call them and screen them, and I wasn't good at it, frankly. I didn't have the patience for it. I wasn't good at it, and it caused me to not do it. So then I would find myself backed into a corner because I didn't dedicate the time. There is a skill to this, and I don't have it. That's as simple as that. So one of the biggest things was Hunter Recruitment went out. They assigned a team to my company, got to know us. They screened through those hundreds of people, and not just the ones that came in through the ads. They went out proactively to get me candidates from my competitors that I said were, there's good people in this place. I wouldn't mind talking to a few of them. So getting that big list down to the 4 or 5 that I should really stop what I'm doing and dedicate my time to these people was tremendously valuable.
What was probably the most surprising piece of how we operated versus our competition? Was it the hourly rates, or was it the recruitment marketing, What was the most surprising to you?
What was surprising to me was that Hunter Recruiting was able to deliver results very quickly. I mean, having people that were dedicated to just doing this and only this yields much faster results. I mean, we filled 7 positions using your company, and that I haven't filled 7 positions over the past 5 years because we give up. It's too frustrating. We give up. So I was very surprised at the volume of candidates you were able to go through, narrow down, source to where we didn't just have one choice. We had multiple choices pretty fast. I mean, within the first 2 to 3 months, I believe we had like 5 out of 7 candidates placed and are all still here today and doing great. And it took us longer to find the other two because of the nature of those positions. But yeah, I mean, we're fully staffed. We're above fully staffed for the first time probably ever in 31 years.
One of the things that Hunter really tries to work on is just the personal touch. Making sure that that you're not just a number. What was your take on that? Did you feel like that was the case?
Yeah, I absolutely felt like that. I mean, what Hunter Recruitment did, what my the team of people that were assigned to me, they asked us about our culture. They asked us about our values. They asked us about our vision. These aren't surprising questions. But what was surprising was you didn't necessarily take my word for it. You wanted to talk to the people that work here because you're trying to find coworkers that are going to work side by side with my team. You wanted to hear from my team to find out what made Tycor special. What is our culture actually even close to what Tim told me? That was nice. I mean, we got a lot of great feedback from that exercise. And mostly I found that, what I thought the culture was, what the culture I was trying to create did in fact exist here. You got a better understanding of it. Your team did. And were able to use that, not only sell us to candidates that would fit, but weed out candidates that you could detect were probably going to bring it down, which was something we were not interested in doing. So that I thought that was a really powerful step.
You talked about being almost fully staffed at this point. Have you started to see that having that many people on staff, is that helping you now in terms of just your overall financial objectives for the year?
It absolutely is. We had 2 types of positions. We had service positions and we had administrative positions. The administrative positions are immediately showing. We measure their success by the amount of time they free up for the people that are in charge of building the business, selling, and servicing clients. And we're going through a move in December. The office manager candidate that we have, I can't imagine trying to do this without her because there is a zillion details that have to be dealt with right away. I mean, she's been able to take off a lot of administrative burden from us.
That's awesome.
Keep it focused, keep it going. The other people that we hired are service oriented, so they need to be productive, and the way they be productive in some cases is by freeing up my time to go out and bring in the next client. And in some cases they have opportunity to bring in clients themselves. So it's been great. I mean, we've had more free time because we're not working weekends to catch up on all the administrative details that need tending to. And we've created capacity that we expect we can grow the revenue of this company by about 40% over the next 12 to 18 months as a result.
I'm really excited to hear you talk about the being able to not have to work weekends. It's part of our mission as a company to work with other businesses so that they don't have to do that, because we experienced that ourselves. And it wasn't until we brought in really great people that we got to have the life we always wanted. A couple more questions for you here. How would you describe the value of our services to someone who's considering hiring us in the future?
I think the value of how would I describe the value of your services? I think the value of working with Hunter Recruiting Advisors is that you're dedicated to this space. Business owners like me are not dedicated to hiring people and finding talent. We might be good at growing it once it's here, but it's a whole nother set of skills to bring them in. And so that's important. And I think that, and also having your team keep us on track, because I had all but given up, right? I wanted this to work, but I was thinking, I was just so frustrated. So when an email would come in to say, here's somebody you should consider, sometimes I was a little slow to react to those emails. And it was helpful to have your team of people say, we went through 400 people to get you this one. Don't let them get away. And once I had that first meeting with that candidate, I was like, this is a higher level candidate than I'm used to getting. So from then on, I kept on top of that process. And when that email came through, I paid attention to it. So my recommendation is, follow your process. When your recruiter, when your sourcer, your team of people from Hunter reaches out to you with a candidate, the good ones go fast. Don't let them. Don't ignore it. Get right on it.
You're awesome. I'll get you out of here on this. Is there anything that you'd like to share about your experience that maybe you didn't get a chance to in some of the other questions that I asked?
I mean, I think it was definitely, it's something that we won't hire again without using Hunter Recruitment, because the experience was just, it just worked, right? I mean, seven people in a relatively short period of time, and all we had to do was talk to the right people, which you put in front of us. That's what we had to do. We didn't have to do all of the other stuff. And all of the other stuff is what wears you down. So it's been a lot easier to make all that happen. We met some quality people along the way.
Tim, I cannot thank you enough for doing this. I'm just humbled. Thank you so very much.
Glad I could help. And, hopefully we'll be calling for additional hires here over the next year.
We're looking forward to it, my friend.